Middlesex renovation project, those systems would need to be added back into the capital 5-year plan. Most notably, the roof and the boilers. Those are now almost 25 years old. We have a series of leaks that crop up during significant rain events. We patch them as we go, but the roof membrane is dry, brittle, cracking, and starting to fail. The boilers, same thing. You know, they do work. We are not in a situation where we don't have heat, but they're getting past their useful life. So this is a good time to start having those conversations so that we don't get to the point where we have catastrophic failures. What these numbers don't take into account are design fees, what else? Escalation, and ultimately, it would need a committee input no matter which way you go, whether it's a full major capital improvement bonded project or through regular capital. So are there any questions on Middlesex Middle School? Please.
Sorry, Kevin, did you say that there would need to be a building committee, even if we were just doing the capital project for the roof and the boilers?
Anything over $1 million requires a building committee. Then we go for state reimbursement in that process as well.
Okay, thank you.
So will we need, maybe I'm jumping, will we need a building committee to replace the roofs at the high school?
Yes, potentially. That's right.
So typically, it's a project like the roof, selecting the board event, either the de facto building committee.
Okay.
If it's like a larger project, like again, HHR or Oxford.
Okay, got it.
I think my personal only concern with this is that, you know, I realize we have to get this done, but then just rolling out the numbers in 28, we're talking $8 million for the high school roof at $9 million. So all of a sudden we're fairly flat at $1 million, 3 million, something like that. And then all of a sudden we go to 14 million and then we're back down. So
Exactly.
that's my only concern is trying to balance that out, but I don't know how you balance out when a roof costs $9 million and roof costs $9 million, you need to do the roof. So, but
Exactly. I think that's why we go with this approach. We would also have a request in the operating budget for a study of the high school. I think we put it in last year, which I believe it was cut, but we'll ask for it again so that we can always stay lined up for these different studies and projects as they come down the pipe so that we can plan accordingly.
yeah, for me, I just would rather have a smoother curve or line.
Sure.
So.
Please, thank you. Kevin, I assume that you've been in contact with the study since it began in the summer, and that's progressing, and all the components to it are going to be covered in terms of helping us to understand economies of scale and future failures and how.
Yes,
Okay.
we had a series of meetings over the summer. Mr. Moulis, the principal, some of her teacher constituents attended, Dr. Byrne as well, Nestor, myself.
Okay.
And we discussed every topic you could think of, how art rooms are being utilized, how locker rooms are assessed, you know, things of that nature. You know, what could we do better or different? And KG&D is doing a really good job of thinking creatively of, you know, what could the middle school look like going forward.
Great, that's good to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then if we decide to do, I guess, option B and do a full capital project on the middle school, what would the timeline of that be?
Sure. So their study is reflecting fiscal year 28 construction dates. So we would do 1 year to design and then 1 year to build.
And that's okay for timing with HHR and everything else and.
So once they present the study to the board, if the board decides they want to move forward with a full building project, we'll work with KG&D to create ed specs, and then the board will have to approve the ed specs, and at that time you're turning it over to the town to request a building committee. So that would be the first step, and then they'll end up hiring architects just like we went through with KG&D, or excuse me, with HHR and Oxridge. And that process typically takes about a year. And then that's when you'll finally start to see like the construction bid go out.
And I would also add that, you know, part of the study reflected that structurally Middlesex is in very good shape. It's got very good bones. The addition was put on in 2001. So, you know, a new school is not necessarily something they would recommend or that we would need, but it would be very similar to what we're living with Hindley Homes and Royal. You know, you're gonna have to do major work while juggling with students learning in the building.
And the study is reflecting projected enrollment growth. So the building is built for 900 and we anticipate being almost close to 1,200 in a few years there.
And then, sorry, one last question for me. So if we do option B, in option A, we have a roof starting in 27, and you were saying the project doesn't start till 28. Can we ride the roof out another year and?
Yes.
So even when you get an appropriation in that first year, so the state requires the municipality to appropriate money. And then that first year, what you're really doing is you're going through the state process to get approval and line everything up for reimbursement and get the architect to draw out the specs. You don't actually end up starting the construction, but you have to actually request the money and it has to be appropriated before you can kind of go through the motions.
Any other questions? Think we're good?
Okay, so to close out the capital ask for the year, we do have a number of asphalt replacement projects. Those have been on the capital plan for a number of years now. They're not in the scope of Hindley Homes and Royal, so we're getting nice new buildings, but the parking lots were not touched as part of those ed specs, and this was done purposefully. So, we've had a good 2-year run of repaving middle school, half of the high school last year, so this is just a continuation of what we've been doing already.
Okay.
Replacement cycle for fleet vehicles, school radios, so that we have communications with PD and others. That's also reflected in the plan. And interestingly enough, I actually put in a generator transfer switch for central office because it is old, antiquated, and starting to give us problems. And in a week when we had 2 power outages at 2 schools, it's pretty timely.
Okay.
So the switch does not replace the generator itself, but it will give us the ability to communicate when we do lose power and reestablish power from the street.
Any questions there? I just have one quick question. My memory is faulty, but I seem to remember when the Darien Foundation, Athletic Foundation came with the fields at one point. Some of those fields were, they said that they would do the replacements themselves. Am I wrong in that recollection or?
No, not at all. I had a meeting, I believe it was last fall, about this time last year with some of the representatives, and we were talking about the same thing. So while we're not ready for replacement just yet, they are very interested in partnering with us in that process. But in the interim, we have increased the maintenance of the fields with the grooming and the repairing of seams and things like that to get some more years of life out of them. But they are in very good shape, very much playable. And
Are all the fields the same, or is there like 2 fields that were that they said that it would replace and another field is not?
that's exactly right.
Okay,
So Center Oval are older by about 2 years, and then East Stadium and Baseball are a bit younger.
okay. Any other questions? All right, we can move on to public comment. Any public comment?
We have no participants for public comment.
Okay, motion to adjourn. So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Adjourn.